Hey everyone, I am Ashley Billington and this is the Campfire. Today we are taking a look at 196A. It's all Katy ISD and they go from a 7 to 9 team district after realignment. Here's the teams that reside in 196A. Katy, Cinco Ranch, Jordan, Maid Creek, Morton Ranch, Peyto, Seven Lakes, Taylor, and Katy Tompkins. The district was already difficult, but with the addition of 5A state champion Peyto and up-and-coming Jordan, it's going to be a lot tougher. Let's analyze these teams in our film session.
The Katy Peyto Panthers won the 5A state championship last year and have now moved up to 6A and have a new head coach in Lonnie Teagle. They have a dominant defense led by big David Hicks in the trenches and Damian Sanford at linebacker. But if they want to sniff that district title, they'll have to knock down the Katy Tigers, which isn't an easy task. Caleb Koger returns at quarterback and district MVP Seth Davis is back at running back. Jonathan Hall and Arian Parrish will shut things down in the defensive backfield. The last team to beat Katy in district play, Tompkins, is ready for another big season again too. The Falcons have some big-time athletes that opposing teams will have to deal with in Wyatt Young and Caleb Komalafi. Look out for Cinco Ranch as well.
They return offensive MVP Gavin Rutherford at quarterback, and he also has targets in Seth Salvarino and Noah Abowd coming back as well. So look for big-time offensive statistics for the Cougars.
Seven Lakes could find themselves a playoff spot if running back Barrett Hudson and tight end Landon Ross can continue to be playmakers. Morton Ranch has a dynamic duo behind center and quarterback Josh Johnson and running back Santana Scott. Maid Creek will hope Peyto transfer Bo Bankston will open things up at wide receiver, while athlete Tayshawn Wilson will be trouble on defense and the return game.
Taylor's strength will be on the defensive line with Ashton Coker and Jose Abreu.
Meanwhile, Jordan is entering their first season in a UIL district, so they may experience some growing pains.
A lot of games to circle on your calendar in this district, but I'm highlighting Thursday, October 6th, when the Katy Tigers take on Katy Peyto. Now, let's dig even deeper into 196A with our Houston Chronicle reporter John Poorman and producer Ward Fasold in the District Breakdown.
All right, District Breakdown time. John Poorman from the Houston Chronicle joins us to talk about probably the best 6A district in at least the Houston area. I'm not going to say the state because there's always 5 6A up there in North Texas, but you got the Katy schools here in 196A. Man, talk to me. They got a new entry into their little group of Katy teams here with Peyto moving up. Talk to me about how you feel this district may sort itself out.
Yeah, I mean, that was, even though we saw it coming, that was one of the bigger Houston area storylines with the UIL realignment, with Peyto moving up to 6A. Obviously, we knew that was going to happen, but, it's really interesting now with them coming off of their state championship run. They have a new head coach in Lonnie Teagle, who came down from Denton Ryan as the offensive coordinator. So he's got a lot of, winning pedigree there. And they're going to have a lot of kids. They're going to be right up there in attendance with the rest of these schools, so it only makes sense for them to be competing against the best as well. And I would expect for the Panthers to, not only, compete for a playoff spot, but, perhaps grab one of those top 2 spots. Of course, it's going to be, a battle with Katy. Of course, Katy is the prohibitive favorite every single year in this district, and for good reason. You just look at their track record under Coach Gary Joseph and what they've been able to accomplish, and reaching the state semifinals last year. But it's going to be very competitive. I feel like there's 5 pretty good, solid teams in this district, and of course, as we always know, there's only 4 playoff spots up for grabs. So it'll be really interesting to see kind of how it plays out.
Excellent. All right, I'll talk to you next week.
See ya.
The guys had much more to say on this district, and you can catch the entire district breakdown this Wednesday on our social media platforms. We've heard about the teams. Now let's take a look at some of the athletes to watch out for and our players on the rise.
Katy Paetow got a nice surprise this offseason when five-star David Hicks followed his father and transferred from Allen to Paetow. He was his district's defensive MVP and received all-state honors as the Beast collected 22 tackles for a loss and 13 sacks during his junior year. Hicks, at 6'4" and 270 pounds, is nearly impossible to block one-on-one, which makes him a problem. Name a college and they are heavily recruiting this monster among men. Staying on the defensive side of the ball, Maid Creek's Tayshawn Wilson is as good as it gets at the cornerback position. Wilson finished his junior year with 30 tackles, 7 passes broken up, and an interception. Tayshawn finds himself around the ball as he had 4 blocked field goals and 2 defensive touchdowns. Wilson has offers from Baylor, Nebraska, and SMU, among others. The returning player of the year in the district is running back Seth Davis of Katy. He may be undersized at 5'7", but it didn't stop him for rushing for almost 2,500 yards and 28 touchdowns. Davis has over 4,200 yards in his Katy career and is expected to eclipse 6,000 before he's done. Seth verbally committed to Mississippi State. Last year's Offensive Player of the Year, Gavin Rutherford, returns for Cinco Ranch behind center. The underrated quarterback threw for over 2,700 yards and 29 touchdowns, and he ran for 11 scores as well. Rutherford will be joined by 3 returning receivers, so look for the senior to put up some big numbers again in 2022. Gavin has offers from Texas El Paso, Rice, and Western Kentucky, among others.
Katy was 14-0 last year when they faced Austin Westlake in the state semifinals. After taking a tough loss to Katy, head coach Gary Joseph is looking forward to getting back to that game in 2022. And our Ward for Sold caught up with him to talk about the Tigers in our Media Day segment.
All right, it's Media Day time, 19-6A. We are discussing, and we got the man, Katy head coach Gary Joseph. Coach, 19-6A has been your baby, except for 2 years ago, where you kind of handled that district, but you're getting a couple new teams in this year. I mean, you go from playing the usuals, but you add Paetow and Jordan as well. So talk to me about how you feel the landscape of this district needs to be surveyed.
Well, it's gotten a little bit tougher, just because we had 2 other, Katy schools, and I know that Paetow is excited about moving up, and as they should be. They had a tremendous season last year and things. It's going to be good. And I know Jordan has been one of the schools that people have pointed at and saying they'll be an up-and-comer and things. It'll be interesting to see how they do it, their first year, 5A football, 6A football and stuff. And things. But like I said, I think, that the district from top to bottom will be stronger than what it has been. So, the district has had a lot of success in the playoffs in the last several years. So, like I said, it's going to make it where, you have to be ready to compete. The bad thing about playing a 9-team district, you got 2 non-district games. You better be ready to go early on and stuff. That's what we're facing right now. Is the sense of urgency has got to be there a lot earlier. You can't really afford the missteps and mishaps, like you possibly could have, when you had 3 or 4 non-district games. So it makes it a little bit tough for everybody.
Absolutely. Well, we can't wait to get this thing started. I know we still got a couple months left, but I appreciate you joining with us, Coach, and we'll talk with you down the line.
I appreciate that. Talk to y'all later.
All right.
You can hear the entire interview with Coach Joseph on our social media platforms this Friday, or if you just can't wait, hop on over to our podcast on iTunes and Spotify to listen to the extended version of the Campfire. That's going to do it for this week's show. Next week, we'll move on to 26A, where Ridge Point has been dominating that district as of late. We'll see if anyone can make a run at them in 2022. You can keep up with everything on the high school football scene on our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram accounts. Until next time, I am Ashley Billington, and thank you so much for watching the Campfire.